Hi, and welcome to Transportation Management System for Business Central. This video shows how a logistics service provider can manage a transportation process in Business Central. Let's consider an example of multi-stage transportation. There are destination, origin, and various means of transport. Our client is a company which produces and ships auto parts in the U.S. and sends it overseas to their customers. The transportation process is complex and has 3 stages. Let's consider typical workflow. Transportation workflow in Business Central has several steps. Each step consists of a number of specific actions reflected in the transportation management system. The process starts with creating a forwarding order. A forwarding order is a main document of TMS. It is usually given to a logistics service provider, LSP, by a customer. All transportation activities in TMS are planned and executed based on this document. First of all, let's run Forwarding Order Wizard. The first step is to define the forwarding order type. This type describes a structure of transportation of stages, services, and statuses. A new number for the created forwarding order will be assigned according to the type. On the next step, we choose ordering party who will pay for this transportation. It can be our company or our customer. On the shipper selection step, you can define the ship-to-address code of a client's warehouse. The consignee is a company that is a customer of our client. Choose the customer code and optional delivery address code. The created forwarding order document contains general blocks of information, commercial terms and details about shipper and consignee with actual precise geographical position of both. Each address has map location entity in TMS. If there is no map location, the system offers to create it. The map window allows to geocode the text address and save it as a map location. For changing pointer on the map, click Set Marker button, click on Map to mark precise position, and click the Save button. Repeat that process for consignee address. In Plan, we should fill in required pickup and delivery date and time. Lines are a content of our order. It can be items of Business Central, logistics units, or products. Products are master data of TMS. In our case, it will be auto parts. Let's change quantity, weight, and volume. Next step of ordering process is a planning of routes and durations of the transportation stages. In our example, we have 3 transportation stages. Go to the Stage tab of the created forwarding order. Stages are a structure of our transportation. Each stage has a mode of transport, start and end map point, duration, and distance. Open card page of first stage. Turn on editing mode. Click End Map Location. Click End Map Location field to define the endpoint of this transportation stage. We'll choose a New York port. TMS allows to use map services to view route and calculate distance and duration. For the second ocean stage line, we'll select Netherlands port as an end map point. Distance for the second stage is calculated on predefined distances between 2 map points. Open Stage Card page to set up a distance and duration between map points manually in Distance Matrix page. Settlement. It enables us to calculate total income, costs, and estimated profit. It is time to create income lines on Settlement tab page. To create new invoice line, choose line type, code, fill in quantity, and price fields. Now create a mileage income line for the service depending on the distance of the stage. Click on Quantity field and run Calculation function. On the third step of the transportation workflow, we deal with logistic units. A logistic unit is something that is transported as one piece and possibly can have an ID. It can be boxes, containers, or vehicles. Let me show the logistic unit creation process. Open Logistic Unit Build page. On this page, we create logistic units and assign content out of transportation to them. Let's run a new logistic unit wizard. On the first step, we define type and quantity of logistic units. Unit type describes main properties of logistic units such as length, width, and height. Let's create 5 pallets and assign auto parts to each of them. The freight planning step is a process of reference stages of the forwarding order to freight orders. Each stage of the forwarding order must have one or more freight orders. A freight order contains data about who and how transportation will be performed. A freight order is an order for a carrier who will actually execute transportation. If a company has its own fleet, the freight order contains driver and vehicle information. First of all, let's run Freight Order Wizard. In the first step, it is necessary to select a stage of transportation for which the freight order will be created. In the second step, we select a certain logistic unit for the freight order. It's possible to organize a parallel transportation of logistic units by different freight orders. Let's repeat this process for the second and third stages. Finally, each stage of the forwarding order has a freight order. Open First Stage Freight Order and choose a carrier, then change planning date for the stage. Adjust duration or distance to actual values if needed. Let's repeat this process for second and third stages. Now our transportation is executed by a number of carriers. If carrier has a tracking system like FedEx or DHL, we can connect to API and receive detailed information about shipments. There are some tools like Control Page and Load Management Page to control forwarding order and related freight orders. Let's open the control page that allows to sort forwarding orders by a shipper or consignee. Besides, this page has information about linked freight orders and their statuses. The control page can be used as an entry point to the transportation management system. Manager can control shipment process by using a carrier tracking system to get actual and detailed information about actions, places, and time of transportation. The last but not least step of the transportation workflow is a freight settlement and invoicing process. Freight settlement is a process of collecting and linking transportation invoices from carriers, calculation, and creating invoices for a customer. The freight settlement process starts by receiving the carrier's invoices. Each invoice is entered in Business Central as a purchase invoice. In our case, some invoices are in Canadian dollars, some in euros. The next step is assigning a purchase invoice amount to the freight order. Let's open the freight order. Scroll to the Charge Information block and click the Purchase Assignment menu item. On the opened page, we are selecting related purchase invoice lines. If there is no link between service items of Business Central and services of the TMS extension, the system warns about that. The setting up process can be started right here in an additional page. Click OK to assign chargers from purchase invoice to freight order. Repeat this process for another 2 freight orders. Now we can allocate freight order charges to forwarding orders in order to calculate total cost and estimated profit for each forwarding order. First of all, open our forwarding order and scroll to the settlement subpage. Each settlement line can be of income type or cost type. Cost type line is a charge line of the freight order. The income type line contains a setting for invoicing our customer. We can change invoicing line fields to set up the price, currency, or amount. For income type lines, we need to fill the invoice line type and invoice line number. This field will be used for creating the line part of the sales invoice for our customer. Then run the Create Sales Invoice procedure to create a sales invoice document in Business Central. After that, new sales invoice can be printed and sent to the customer. The settlement lines contain information about all related documents. Thank you for watching.